Israeli troops opened fire near thousands of hungry Palestinians after chaos erupted at a new US-backed aid distribution site. The Israeli military said its troops fired warning shots to control the situation. A security source told local media that despite pushing for the control of humanitarian aid, the Israeli military was not properly prepared to do so. Palestinians have become desperate for food after an 11-week siege by Israel, and a continuing humanitarian aid blockade pushed Gaza to the brink of famine. After almost 3 months, Israel agreed to allow a trickle of aid into the Strip, which humanitarian organizations have criticized as not enough. The aid hub outside of Rafah had been opened the day before by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. They assumed responsibility for managing aid from other international organizations such as the United Nations, who have highly criticized the program. Prior to its launch, the leader of the foundation unexpectedly resigned. He said it had become clear that the organization would not adhere to the humanitarian principles of humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence.
EU member states have grilled Hungary over the gay pride ban and the rule of law situation at the Article 7 hearing in Brussels. Hungary has lately banned the gay pride and plans to put more pressure on foreign-funded NGOs and media.
Es kann einem niemand hier vorwerfen, dass wir keine Geduld gehabt hätten, sodass wir uns natürlich jetzt auch irgendwann einmal Gedanken machen müssen, wie wir hier in medias res gehen. Es gibt hier vorbereitete Erklärungen und ich kann nur sagen, die Geduld der Kolleginnen und Kollegen schwindet von Tag zu Tag.
The Article 7 process against Hungary started in 2018 because of rule of law worries, and ultimately the EU could strip Hungary's voting rights away at the end of the process.
We have had 7 years, 7 hearings, and I will be very clear today that this cannot just continue unless we see a completely new attitude from the Hungarian side today. I think it's time that we consider the next steps, because this is getting pointless in continuing these hearings.
Hungary said the accusations are baseless and politically motivated.
A lényeg nem változott, ez az eljárás mindig a politikai hisztériakeltés és a politikai nyomásgyakorlás eszköze volt. Nincs ez másként ma sem. A magyar kormány ettől függetlenül ebben az eljárásban nyílt, őszinte párbeszédre törekszik.
During the meeting, 20 EU countries demanded in a joint declaration that Hungary reverse the gay pride ban.
The lower house of French Parliament adopted a bill on Tuesday that legalizes assisted dying. The bill passed with 305 votes in favor and 199 against, and was backed by centrist and left-wing lawmakers, while most right-wing MPs opposed it. The National Assembly vote is a key step on the long-debated issue. The bill will now be sent to the Senate for further deliberation and voting. A final vote on the measure could take months due to France's notoriously long and complex process. If passed, French citizens and residents over the age of 18 will be entitled to lethal medication if they suffer from terminal or incurable illnesses. But patients suffering from psychiatric conditions and neurodegenerative disorders such as Alzheimer's won't be eligible. A team of medical professionals will need to assess and confirm each request on a case-by-case basis before the process can move forward. A 2023 report indicated that most French people support voluntary end-of-life options. Critics, however, which include French religious leaders, have denounced the bill and warned of its potentially dangerous effect on society. Ongoing European investigations into the way the Greek Payment Authority of Common Agricultural Policy Aid Schemes, or OPEC, operates are changing how European funds are distributed to farmers in Greece. The group was under surveillance for a year, and the raid on its offices last week was part of a wider investigation into illegal subsidies given to livestock farming.
Και η έκθεση που έγινε την περασμένη χρονιά ουσιαστικά διαπίστωνε μια σειρά προβλήματα τα οποία ανάγκασαν την Ευρωπαϊκή Επιτροπή, τη Γενική Διεύθυνση Γεωργίας, να θέσει υπό επιτήρηση τον οργανισμό για ένα περίπου χρόνο μέχρι την αποκατάσταση της λειτουργίας του με βάση τους κανόνες της Ευρωπαϊκής Επιτροπής. Ένας οργανισμός σαν τον ΟΠΕΚ δυστυχώς εντάχθηκε στην πάγια, αν το θέλετε, παθογένεια του πολιτικού μας συστήματος, το οποίο εντάσσει θεσμούς στο σύστημα των πελατειακών σχέσεων. Έτσι, μια ανοχή υπήρξε, η οποία οδήγησε τα πράγματα εδώ που τα οδήγησε.
The case will not only affect the mechanism for the payment of subsidies in Greece. It comes at a crucial moment during the restructuring process of the European Common Agricultural Policy, and it's likely to have long-term consequences.
Το αποτέλεσμα είναι ότι η Ελλάδα, ενώ στα χαρτιά θα έπρεπε να έχει μέσο όρο γεωργικών επιδοτήσεων 38 ευρώ το στρέμμα, βρίσκεται περίπου στα 58. Και δίνει την αίσθηση μιας χώρας που παίρνει πολύ μεγάλο ποσοστό επιδοτήσεων ανά έκταση, τη στιγμή που γίνεται σε όλη την υπόλοιπη Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση μια μεγάλη συζήτηση για το πώς θα εξομοιώσεις αυτού του είδους τις επιδοτήσεις.
The European Public Prosecutor's Office has signaled that it will continue its investigation into OPEC despite what it said were attacks and intimidation of its officials. Amid pressure, the Greek government has decided to abruptly abolish OPEC. The body's powers have now been shifted to the country's independent tax bureau. The Trump administration is continuing its attacks on Harvard University. Earlier, $2.6 billion in federal research grants were canceled after the university refused to comply with White House orders. Last week, the Trump administration revoked the U.S.'s oldest and wealthiest university's ability to enroll international students.
I do think that cutting funding, not only for this university, but universities generally, is very ridiculous. I think that research, funding, intellectual independence are things that have made the United States strong, have made universities strong, is the reason that we are like a beacon for the rest of the world. And I think that undermining those things, cutting those things is not only a bad short-term view, but a horrendous long-term view.
And now, federal agencies were instructed to cancel contracts worth around $100 million as the feud with Harvard intensifies. The row with Harvard started after the Trump administration demanded the university to stop what it called a hotbed of liberalism, left-wing activism, and anti-Semitism. The White House directed Harvard to ban on-campus protests, eliminate DEI practices, and report on foreign students involved in demonstrations for potential deportation. The university has refused to comply with the Trump orders and are vowing to continue to fight what they're calling unlawful attacks on their institution. The suspect in a knife attack in the German city of Solingen has appeared in court on charges of murder and terrorism. The Syrian man named Isa is being charged with 10 counts of attempted murder as well as membership in a foreign terrorist organization, the so-called Islamic State. 3 people were killed on the 23rd of August in an attack on a festival in the western German city. In court, the suspect, whose surname was undisclosed due to German privacy laws, admitted responsibility for the incident. He also expressed guilt over his actions, saying he killed innocent people, not, quote, infidels, adding that he was prepared to accept any verdict. Murder charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison in Germany. Trial sessions are scheduled to continue at the Dusseldorf State Court until late September.
Belgian customs will start using military radar systems to monitor private aircraft more closely in a bid to combat smuggling, according to officials. The move comes as authorities acknowledge that smugglers are taking advantage of limited oversight at small airports and heliports across the country. Private planes are often used to transport drugs, weapons, cash and illicit goods with little to no scrutiny.
Il y a des milliers et des milliers de vols qui se passent en Belgique. La douane concentrait tous ses efforts et ses contrôles sur les 6 aéroports les plus importants, mais les 150 autres, c'était vraiment un blind spot pour nous.
To improve monitoring, a customs officer will be placed in Belgium's National Airspace Security Centre. With stepped-up surveillance, Authorities expect detections involving private aircraft to rise.
The mega Starship by SpaceX spun out of control and broke apart on its 9th test flight. The 123-meter rocket lifted off from SpaceX's Starbase launch site in Texas.
Booster engine cut off.
It flew beyond the point of the two previous Starships launched in January and March and which never made it past the Caribbean. 30 minutes into the flight, the Starship started spinning out of control because of a reported fuel leak and blew up over the Indian Ocean. It was the first time that one of Musk's Starship intended for Moon and Mars travel flew with a recycled booster.
We're entering into an air.
Search efforts continue for 6 missing people following a deadly blast at a chemical plant which killed 5 on Tuesday in eastern China, according to local authorities. The blast, which left 19 people injured, happened in a plant which produces pesticides and chemicals in the city of Weifang in Shandong province. Local residents up to 3 kilometers away reported having their windows blown out by the blast. The cause of the explosion remains unknown. Last year, at least 800 safety hazards were identified at the chemical plant in 2024, but officials said they had all been rectified. In 2024, China recorded 19,600 deaths in the workplace.